a little bit of debate in the chat about how good TaToH is and how good BacT is. I think overall, more or less, everyone would agree that BacT has reached higher levels than TaToH, distinguished himself more in most settings. But it's not to say that TaToH can't, on his day, beat BacT quite convincingly, actually, as we saw in Polaris, at the Polaris finale at the end of last year, around about October. After losing a couple of games, TaToH just went on a tear and barely lost one after that. But BacT has played a lot lately. He's looked in good form in some of the times I've seen him. And he's played a lot 1v1. He's played a lot of team games with the VNS guys. Preparation for Clan Masters as well. And I think participating in the kind of some of those Chinese Dream Teams matches with that Who is the King thing that's going on, or Who Decides. Can't remember which of those two it's called now. But BacT is playing a lot, and he's looking really sharp. Like, macro is so on point lately. And I think when he's in that kind of shape, which he wasn't quite when he played against TaToH in Polaris, he's a step above. Right, so this is Crater, which is like Gold Rush, except it's crazy Gold Rush because we have a much larger area with gold spread about. So it's not a case where you rush the gold, you build a castle on it, and it's yours. Both players can easily access the gold. It's about slowly creeping out and taking some map control there. But they don't have much gold in their own home areas. Just 3 tiles, but there's extra stones so they can manipulate the market. And also there's the option to just go straight up the middle. One player may choose to concentrate too much on securing the gold area and then end up being vulnerable to a push straight up the middle or down the side, however the map gets laid out, because sometimes the crater is directly between the two players. We saw this played once between Vodka and Melkor, and I think that game was won by Melkor in a Goths war. And like, I think that is how it played out, that they went aggressive with Man at Arms, and they only started to pay attention to the gold a little bit later on in the middle, and it really didn't have a deciding effect on the game. It was more the sort of standard fighting rather than having to rush the gold that was decisive there. But anyway, just taking a look, TaToH's chosen Persians in the blue towards the north. BacT has chosen Britons. Oh dear. Why? Britons is probably the best civ that isn't Huns, Mines or Aztecs for Call to Arms that BacT had left available to him. Like, Britons and Celts have been picked a lot. Mongols as well, I think. But Britons have got such a high suitability for some of these Call to Arms maps, especially maps like Dunes, which has been played quite a bit and picked quite a bit by players as a home map. And the many Arabia style ones that is a pick BacT wanted to save for future weeks, in my view. If he's serious about winning in the long term, then that is something he wanted to use next week or whenever. Particularly next week, because if he wins next week, then he gets to Huns, Mayans and Aztecs territory in week 4 onwards. I think he's either got his eye on the short term, or he's not giving his thought, or he really just wants the $5 from this game. It's kind of shooting himself in the foot, but I guess the other thing is BacT is so damn good that he can, lacking Britons next time around, if he's at a civ disadvantage because he's used all the good civs and the other players have got good ones, he can probably make it work, unless some other real top experts sign up, and if he continues to show this good form. But anyway, let's just return to the maps. I got distracted by the civilizations. BacT's home 3 tiles of gold are quite forward, but still quite close to TC, so that's not bad. For TaToH, forward as well, a little bit more exposed and a little bit further away, so that's inconvenient for him. Players do have 3 stones, as I mentioned, which allows you to kind of mount a casual push to take back the middle if you can't get access to it. So I didn't want this map to be Gold Rush, where if you get the gold first you kind of generally win. that stone gives you some options, especially via the market as well. His main stone's in a good spot, kind of half in the forest, but you don't really don't stick 20 bills on stone, so it's okay. The other two are somewhat forward. BacT has 2 in the back and 1 forward. Maps look pretty good for both players though as well. Good wood lines, which you'd expect on this map. Deer in a really nice pushable spot for TaToH if he wants to push those towards his mill. He hasn't found 2 of his sheep just yet, but I've got a feeling he'll wander over there and collect those just now. That if his scouting pattern just follows around there, as you'd expect, and covering the darkness. Both players getting loom right now. And I think we're going to see click-ups. 500 food, 500 food, both players on their way when BacT's loom finishes. Yeah, both players on their way. 21 pop for each. Where did the scout go for BacT? Did I miss that? Did he run into the TC? Yep, ran into the TC. Sorry for missing that. But so BacT is essentially doing 22 pop up and TaToH doing 21 pop up. But BacT's reduced to 21 pop by losing his scout. However, the difference between the two players is only 10 seconds, so TaToH is kind of half a vil of idle time in his Dark Age, more than BacT. We're not going to see scouts though from BacT. We're going to see Drush flush from him. Well, Men at Arms flush basically. Militia being created, but he'll hit the feudal age. 2 villagers gone to gold, and he'll get the Men at Arms upgrade. TaToH still having a scout, sees this coming, which is nice for him, but he does have that vulnerability on his map that he's got no access to gold whatsoever. If BacT comes forward here, puts towers up, does have the stone. I'd like to see in reaction, because he knows this is coming now, I'd like to see like palisade here. He's putting one there, and that's fine because it doesn't cost as much for now. But if the palisade was there in that line, then he could get a mining camp on the stone if he so chooses, because that's the own and to do some towers if he needs. Because if he has to make more than 1 tower, he can't mine his stone. He can't mine any stone at all if BacT comes forward and occupies this area. So I'd like that wall to be in a slightly different spot, but let's see how it goes. He's going to go with the scout rush that I was expecting from him, as he's Persians. Walling off the right side, Man at Arms coming in for BacT. Forward archer range is being built halfway between the two players. And TaToH seems to have adopted my mindset of this, and he's done the wall that I wanted to see. Good lad, but he's wasted the whole 15 wood. No big deal. And tower is going to keep the stone, so I like this. He's recognising the importance of that stone mine to his map here, because if he can't get this gold, then he'll want to probably sell some of that stone to get up, and to also just mine more stone to push BacT away with some towers. And I think he's going to be okay. He's got some wall and really nice advanced walling done on the left hand side. This left side of the map is completely blocked up. Obviously Vils and Man at Arms and kind of bash the wall so quickly, but it gives TaToH time to react. He's already on stone to defend with towers, and he's got scouts out, which means he can go and do some damage. No spears at home for BacT right at the moment. So if those scouts hit here, okay, one's coming. Scouts will struggle to do much as well. 3 scouts are never that threatening. I always think you need a 4th to truly take down villagers effectively. 3 just always seem to take a little bit too long for my liking.
Ready. Mandatum.
2 spears, walling off as well for BacT, so he's still going to stay safe. I was going to say TaToH can probably do some damage here because BacT hasn't walled at home, he hasn't got spears, but by the time TaToH arrived, the defences were in place for BacT. And BacT is through TaToH's wall now. And I'm surprised he's not going through there. I really am. That's odd. Why are you walking past the TC to get there when you've just burst a hole through the wall? Who knows? But TaToH's tower goes up, and I think this was a little bit sloppy from TaToH, because I'm sure he would have had the stone in the bank to get this tower up earlier, and obviously BacT got deflected from pushing the left hand side, and he would have seen the units going round to the right. I expected to see just something to stop BacT coming through on the right hand side. A little GG. Wow. Seems TaToH is not wanting to hang around and try and fight this out. Disappointing to not see this game develop a little bit more. TaToH's obviously in trouble right now, and I think it's due to the lack of urgency with getting other towers up. I mean, he jumped on stone, put up one tower, and then had left 3 villages on stone. And what that says to me is, I want to defend with towers, so I'm gonna beat you to the punch. BacT, I'm going to put towers up around my base, and I'm going to stop you coming through the wall. And that hasn't happened here. He did one here far too late, and then BacT even had the audacity to dive past the TC and just get into the back and start doing damage. I mean, it does put TaToH at a huge disadvantage, and I can understand why once this situation has developed. He kind of feels it's over, and he's not willing to fight it out for the sake of $5, knowing that he can't advance to next week. But I think he could have prevented all of this happening just by getting the towers up a bit earlier. But anyway, strong play from BacT. 3-0 winner over TaToH, so revenge for Polaris. And he'll go through to the next week, where he'll face a challenge if he plays a good opponent. Because next week he will not be able to use Huns, Mayans, Aztecs, Britons, Celts, Mongols, Chinese, Spanish or Vikings. That's 9 civs taken out of the equation, and he can't use... So he's got 9 of the remaining civs to use, and they are not the strongest ones that he has left. Obviously, he can pick home map choices and try and play those civilizations differently, but considering we see a lot of Arabia-ish maps in Call to Arms, he's going to be down to 2nd, 3rd, 4th tier civs for those kinds of maps. So week 3, probably where he's at most vulnerable. If he wins next week, then he's in a good position, because he'll then unlock Huns, Mayas and Aztecs for the following 3 games. Right, I'm going to end the stream here, because I want to go and have some lunch. Very, very late lunch. Father's Day in the UK, so going out with my dad to have a meal. But it's been fun. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the Call to Arms games and the expert games beforehand. The classic game, if you were here for that and you stuck with me, thank you. And see you next time for the next round of Call to Arms games and BacT's 3rd week as champion. And I will pay out the bets before I go T90. Don't worry. Alright guys, see ya.